Hi all. So I haven't done a video for a while, and I've decided to do a bit of a series of, I suppose, video diaries, trying to look at me getting back into training. So if I start from the very beginning, the last few years we've had a number of things which have stopped us training, and I'm not just talking about myself now. I'm talking about everyone. We've had the coronavirus, and so COVID has had a big impact on most people's training, whether that be because gyms aren't open, because clubs haven't been running as well as they have, or they could have. Um, but we've got to a point now where that's starting to ease. It's definitely in the UK, some of it's easing. Clubs are back open and you're able to go to the gym and things. But I can't really hide behind that excuse anymore. There's been other things which have impacted my life over the last probably 2 to 3 years. I've had two children. Oh, my wife has had two children, but I've wanted to be a good dad, and I've wanted to ensure that I'm there. And previously, I've done Ironman, I've done half Ironman races, and the time that it takes to train for some of them, I just wasn't willing to do that while I had really small children, and both of my children are under three, or 3 and 1. Um, the other issue I've had then is injury, and at least for the last year, my running has been very inconsistent, simply because I've had an issue with my glute, sort of lower back. It's all connected, and ultimately it comes down to a couple of different things, and that is not being consistent with my training, not physically being active, and having a desk job. So I'm 9 to 5, sitting in a seated position, working at a desk. It's not great. My shoulders are coming forward, I'm hunching over, I'm leaning forward as well. None of this is great. I even have a standing desk in work, and I try to use that as much as possible. But well, actually, I haven't been in the office that much again because of COVID. So these are all excuses, and I don't want to hide behind them. But it got me thinking that I'm going to get back into training. I've been very inconsistent for at least the last year, if not longer. The injury's been there for at least 18 months to 2 years. What's the best way for me to get back into training? And it's funny that I've had to take the advice that I give other people, and it didn't sit well with me. And I think that's the triathlete coming out. And the advice was, go back to basics. Start at the very, very beginning, as if you hadn't run before. The cycling and the swimming, I'm not too concerned about. They're relatively low impact, but it's the running and the impact it has on my lower back and my glute that has flared up the injury time and time again. And what I've tended to do is I'll have a month or so off, or light exercise. I get back into it, still think I can do what I did before, and we're all guilty of that. So I've had a bit of a chat with myself, and sort of said, look, I need to go back to basics. I need to go back to the very beginning. And this is where I've got a couch to 5K plan. It's hard to swallow for someone who did an Ironman race not too many years ago, has done, I think 2 years ago, I was doing a 46-mile ultra marathon. So to go back to very basics like that is hard. It's hard to swallow because you've got your pride, and you think you're a fit person. Why do I need to go back to that? And so there's a big caveat in that. I'm starting off a couch to 5K. I've modified it slightly, but let's just say 95% of what I'm doing will be following this plan. So for the first week, there are 3 days of running, and what I have to do is run for 1 minute and walk for 90 minutes. I did the first session today, and I thought I was going to hate it. I thought I was going to really struggle and want to run more, but the structure of, I have to run for a minute, walk for 90 seconds. I quite like that. I've always liked interval training, so that's worked well with me. So we'll see how it goes. Like I said, it's not what some you want to hear when you've done certain training, a certain exercise to a relatively high level before. I am by no stretch of the imagination a top athlete, but I do believe that I've done, I believe, quite good challenges. Like I said, done Ironman, done ultra marathons, done marathons, done a half Ironman, done 100+ bike rides. And I don't want to blow my own trumpet here. I've done well to do that, but that was 2 years ago. And let's take the advice that I would give to other people, and let's go back to basics. So, like I said, I'm going to try and sort of record where I am, possibly at the end of every week. I'm going to see how each week goes, but I've got to remember, if I'm going to make amendments to this, I have to do it appropriately. I can't just say, right, I've done the first week, that was easy, I'm going to go straight now to week 5. Well, no, let's assess it properly. Let's not rush back too soon, because that, injury will flare back up. I've also been to a physio recently. He's given me some exercises. And funnily enough, these exercises are really basic as well. It's literally like lying on my back and pulling my leg up, literally like a millimeter or two, holding it for 10 seconds, going down, then bringing it up to my chest and trying to bring my back to the ground as much as possible, bring them to my chest, hold 10 seconds in there. And that seems really basic for me, but let's take the advice of the professionals. I've been like this for 18 months to 2 years. I've tried to get back on my own way. It hasn't worked. So let's go back to basics and start again. And in 9 weeks' time, because this is a 9-week plan, hopefully, 1, my fitness would have improved, but 2, I would have managed the niggles and the injuries that I have more effectively. So that's my biggest advice to anyone who's doing this at the moment, this being returning back from a lengthy period. Or if you're coming into triathlon or running for the first time, and maybe you've done other sports, but you did that 10, 15, 20 years ago, go back to basics. Swallow some pride and get a plan like this and build up. And give yourself enough time to build up as well. That's very, very important. Anyway, like, subscribe, come back to us in each week when we do these videos, and hopefully, fingers crossed, my fitness has improved, the niggles haven't come back, and I'm just managing my body a lot better than I once was. Anyway, there we go. Cheers, guys.